This is Andrew with the Chosen Prime with a video preview for Fans Hobby's Master Builder MB05 Flypro, which is their take on a Masterpiece version of the G1 Monsterbot known as Grotusque. And it's the third and final Masterpiece styled Monsterbot from Fans Hobby. And it matches their previous releases, Megatooth, which was their Repugnus, and Feilong, which was their Doublecross. Flypro here kind of uses some of the same parts from Feilong, but done up and definitely remolded quite a bit to make it into a version here of Grotusque. And again, this is a pre-production sample, so things might change before we get the retail release. But this is, again, a nice solid figure from Fans Hobby. You know, I keep giving us these nice Masterpiece style figures. So here you can see the figure, and it's nice and tall. He's 8.5 inches, just like all the other Monsterbots from Fans Hobby. He does have quite a bit of die cast in him. He's heavy just like the others. He's 1 pound 6 5/8 ounces, so he's quite heavy. You can see here he comes with this G1 style gun. And then this release from Fans Hobby is going to come with a ton of different accessories here. You get some hands for Feilong, you get flame effect parts, you get different alternate faces for all the different Monsterbots, and just a nice little bit of accessories here that come with Flypro. So let's go and take a closer look at details here for Flypro. Taking a closer look here at Flypro's robot mode detail, you can see there's lots of nice paint, plastic, and tampograph here. This is all very cleanly painted even in this pre-production sample. So nice tampographs that are very clean. Look at their Cybertronian. And then the color scheme and overall design match G1 Grotusque pretty well. Definitely to match a Masterpiece style and to match the other previous releases in this Master Builder Monsterbot line from Fans Hobby. You can see his head here has got some nice metallic blue lenses there for his eyes. Come down to his legs. Again, using the same skeleton as Feilong, but very clean. It actually feels a little bit more sturdy than it did on Feilong as far as his legs are concerned. Everything seems to be tightened up a little bit. But you do have, the nice bits of detail, and you do have die cast here in the feet, in the torso, etc. So again, big, heavy figure. As far as articulation, his head here is on a nice ball joint, side to side, look up, look down. The arms can rotate. There's a ratchet at the shoulder. You have a little bit of play forward and back on each arm. Does have an outward hinge there. Bicep swivel, ratcheted elbows, bend a little bit more than 90. The hands can rotate, stiff joint. The fingers, the bottom 3 are pinned, and then he's got an index finger that's curled. He can rotate at his waist. These little hip flaps can move out of the way. Ratchet outward, ratchet forward, and ratchet back. You can see there's a lot of clearance there. Upper thigh swivel, ratcheted knee. If you kind of move this panel out of the way, you can get a little bit more bend into his knee, but he is somewhat limited there. The feet are on a kind of range of different ball joints. You can see how nice and heavy and thick they are, so you can move the toe and feet quite a bit. And just overall, another great Monsterbot, Masterpiece Monsterbot here from Master Builder. And when we get to comparison a little bit, even though he uses the same skeleton as Feilong, almost all the exterior parts here are redone, like the arms, the shoulders, the chest. So he does look quite a bit different than Feilong. You do have options with the wings of moving them in and out. There's a hinge here. They move it up and down. The wings can move inward this way, and this wing can move that way, so you have options as far as how you want to kind of pose his wings. In robot mode here, same thing with his monster mode. As far as his weapon, there is a channel here on the handle of the gun that matches the channel on his hand, so it's just a matter of sliding it in there, and he can hold it nice and securely. And so here's his default face as it is installed. You can see just a kind of a neutral face overall, but very detailed. And then he does come with the alternate faces here, and I'll show those off in just a second. One that's grinning and one that's smiling. In order to replace it, you do need to unscrew the back of the head, kind of pull it apart and replace it. So let me do that momentarily. And here's the smiling alternate face. You see he's got a little bit of a smirk there, and it's pretty easy to replace it. And here is his gritted angry face installed. You see it looks very fitting for these giant sized Monsterbots. Showing off his poseability here. We can utilize those nice ratchets in the legs and knees, and those nice big feet to get him some nice planted poses here. And his joints are stiff enough here in the arms, and he's got enough range. Here you can get some dynamic poses. We can stretch out the wings to get him even looking more dynamic. And then of course we have these little bits of play here in the shoulders to give him just a little bit more posability as far as his arms are concerned. Very solid effort, yet again, from Fans Hobby. These are excellent takes on these Masterpiece Monsterbots. So let's go ahead and take a look at his transformation into his monster mode. Transforming Flypro here is pretty intuitive. We'll start with his hands here. So we'll lift up on this panel, rotate the fist 180 so that you have a little bit more clearance. Rotate the fist inward. And then close this panel. Come to the claws underneath here and pull them forward, and then you can see there's like a channel here where these slide up on that channel. It'll lock into place, and then there's this tab here that matches the tab in the claws. So you have the one side done. So we'll quickly do the other side. Open this panel, flip the fist 180, rotate the panel inwards, close this down, slide, unlock, and slide this panel forward, locking that into place like that. Come to the monster head here in the back, and if you see this panel here, what's interesting again is that if it pushes in like that, but when you push it back down, it kind of fills into place. It's kind of like automorph. So flip it over the head, and there's this tab here that tabs into the front, and you do have to kind of press a little bit to lock it down. And there's the monster head ready to go. We take his waist, rotate it 180, come to the back of the legs here. His legs here are very similar to Feilong, so we'll start by taking the claw here and folding it down on each side. We want to open up this panel and fold this up, lift the tail up, and you can see that here's this hinge where now this part of the monster leg will hinge outward on a double hinge, and then come around and lock into place. And bring the leg out side like this, and then fold it in on itself. Just making sure you move everything away out of the way so you have clearance. Like so. And we'll come to the other leg. Move this panel, move it out of the way. Hinge this outward, and then we'll lock into place on the outside. Get an angle here so you can fold the monster foot here in on itself. And then peg the two halves of the monster bottom here together. Peg the tail together. Come up top, flip these panels up. You can see here there's this tab that matches the hip. So we want to push down on the upper torso there, kind of compressing it, locking it down. Come to his feet here. This foot panel here will flip towards the back as a heel spur. This claw will ratchet forward. And there's one claw done. So flip that claw back, ratchet the toes forward. Position the wings, kind of however you like. And there is Flypro transformed into his monster mode. Taking a closer look here at his monster mode, you can see it's very evocative of his original G1 monster mode, and somewhat similar to Feilong, but still very nice. Nice saber-tooth kind of cat head here in the front. The jaw here can close and open. You can see you've got some chroned fangs there. The head itself, the monster head here, is on a big thick ball joint, so you can have it look side to side and tilt and pivot. You have the same arm movement at the arms, as far as the hinge that goes inward and outward. Upper bicep swivel, ratcheted arms. The claws here are kind of like mole claws, and so they're individually jointed, each one on a ball joint, so you have a little bit of options as far as getting them kind of posed. The legs here, nice thick ratchet for the monster leg. He does have a ball jointed knee that's nice and stiff. The heel spur here can move, the claws can move. He's got a little play side to side. If you'd like, you can actually pivot the legs out a little bit, and you can use that hinge to kind of have him be a little bit more splayed. He can stand, lifting his tail up easily. The wings here, you can see that they can pivot up and down quite a bit. There's a hinge here, and this hinge can move. And then if you like, you actually see the gun, And using this port here on the back of the neck here, you can install the gun and have his gun set up there. And just another cool Masterpiece Monsterbot here from Fans Hobby. And so the original Grotusque and other G1 Monsterbot toys actually had a sparking mechanism in their monster modes where you could get little sparks with a little bit of flint. And so what Fans Hobby has done is given us these little effect parts. Basically get 4 of these, one for each one of the monster heads. And they're each made of 2 different parts of clear plastic. It's this nice soft plastic. You get the flame piece here that's got a circular peg, and then this part here that's got a little square peg. And so if we take it, and if we look at the monster mouth here, there's a little square peg. So we take the flame and we kind of fit it in past his tusks this way, and then we can plug in the flame effect to mimic the way that he kind of had a flame effect here in the G1 toy. And you can spin this inner piece to kind of move it around and have it look you know, like he's breathing fire. Nice little bonus action piece they've provided for all the different monster heads. And so let's take a look at the other accessories that Flypro comes with. So for Megatooth here, not only do you get the flame effect part for his monster mode, they do provide 2 alternate faces here, as well as if you look at, he's got just painted blue eyes, whereas the new versions of these characters have these chromed eyes. And so just like Flypro, it's just a matter of turning the head around and unscrewing the head here. And so here is his chromed-eyed visor to match his default face, to match the other Monsterbots from Fans Hobby. Here's the alternative smiling face that they provided with Flypro. Very nice. And here's his gritted teeth, angry face. Nice set of options they've given us for these figures, and it's cool that they've given us the angry kind of faces and chrome visor here for Megatooth. As far as accessories here for Feilong, they did provide a pair of effect parts here because he does have the 2 dragon mode heads. But additionally, they actually provide fists here. So here's the default way of kind of having his hand, where it's more of the dragon mode claws are kind of his hand. But alternatively, you can take these hands and just peg them into the cannon part here, and just kind of move the arm mechanism here, and you can give him fists. And if you do, you know, these fists can hold the standard guns that Feilong came with. So it's a nice alternative here to have these fists. And they do have moving fingers. Bottom 3 are pinned, and you can move them on the peg. And so it's a nice alternative to his dragon mode hands if you didn't like that. But he also does come with alternate faces just like the others. So here's his smirking face. And they actually provide a second front half of the helmet, because on the original kind of non-smirking face here, the default, I think this lower faceplate's kind of stuck. And so they actually provide the front half of this for the alternate faces here. You can see he's got a nice little smirk to go along with those chromed eyes. And here is his angry / yelling face. It's nice that they, again, provided all these different options as far as how you wanted to pose them all. One to match the visors, and then, you know, whether you want them all just default, kind of just smirking, or you want them kind of yelling, screaming like this. So let's go ahead and take a look at comparisons for Flypro with other Masterpiece Autobots. Comparing robot modes for all 3 of the Fans Hobby Masterpiece Monsterbots. On the left, we've got MB02 Megatooth, which is their Repugnus. We've got MB03 Feilong, which was their Doublecross. And here we've got MB05, which is Flypro / Grotusque. You can see how they're all this nice, massive Masterpiece scale. They all have a similar aesthetic across all of them. Feilong and Flypro do share some basic skeleton parts, like their legs are the same, these tail parts, and etc. But then they're also quite different. You can see how the chests are quite different, the way the arms are handled are different. The wings are actually a little bit different, and like these panels on the legs are different. And then just stylistically, paint-wise, they stand out from each other. But they all look like great versions of these Monsterbots, done in a newer Masterpiece scale. In solid releases, solid designs overall. From the 3 of them here, you can see how the wings are a little bit different. You just, you know, great toys here from Fans Hobby in their robot modes. Comparing monster modes across all 3, you can see how, again, these are nice Masterpiece style versions of these Monsterbots. And then, even though they had a similar transformation, you can see how Feilong and Flypro here do look different in their monster modes overall, as far as with the double dragon heads, the little saber-tooth tiger piece here, and just overall, just big, massive Masterpiece Monsterbots here from Fans Hobby. Solid releases, solid toys, and just really cool versions of these G1 characters. Comparing Flypro with some other official Masterpiece Autobots, we've got MP10 Optimus Prime and Masterpiece Sideswipe. Flypro here is just slightly smaller than MP10, but quite a bit taller than standard car Autobot. And stylistically, like other Fans Hobby releases, he does match the Masterpiece aesthetic, and it makes sense that these Monsterbots would be big, massive characters. And Flypro here is no different than the other two Masterpiece Monsterbots from Fans Hobby. Alternate mode comparisons, you can see that even though he was similar height to Prime here, definitely his monster mode towers over officially other bots, which makes sense. You kind of want the monsters to be these giant, big characters and creatures, and so it's cool to see Fans Hobby is still giving us these nice Masterpiece style monster bots. Some final thoughts on this production sample from Fans Hobby, their Master Builder MB05 Flypro, or their Masterpiece Grotusque. As you've seen through this video, they've now finally finished off their Masterpiece version of these G1 Monsterbots, and they've done a very excellent job of kind of giving us these great representations of these G1 toy characters for our Masterpiece collections. They're all solidly built, and Flypro kind of is the nice pinnacle of these Monsterbots. He's the best one they've done so far, matches the G1 toy. A lot of range of poseability as far as his wings, his arms, his claws. You get all the fun accessories that come with Flypro, all the flame effect parts, alternate heads for the other bots, hands for Feilong. And it's just nice that Fans Hobby has kind of now completed this set of Monsterbots for our Masterpiece collections. So Flypro here is currently up for pre-order at the Chosen Prime. We assume we'll get our stock of this guy relatively soon. If you'd like the other two, either Megatooth / Repugnus or Feilong / Doublecross, they're currently in stock at the Chosen Prime. And so if you want to kind of build this trio of Masterpiece Monsterbots for your collection, they are solid releases. Fans Hobby does give us another excellent set of Masterpiece style figures, so take care.